Hello, hello, hello. We are back once again. It is match reaction time. It is the reaction, not quite instant, but somewhat there, somewhat there. It's same within the same hour proximity, so it's a record time for me because I like to do my stuff usually at the end of the day. But it is Manchester United 3, West Ham United 0. I'm joined by guest of honour, if we can call it that. at this point, we've got Tony on the show. How are we doing, Tony?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Obviously, yeah, to say that we got turned over. Also, we got, as I mentioned earlier, I think it was more individual errors than anything. We was in the game, but yeah,
Hmm.
you don't get nothing if you don't put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, that's the pivotal part of the game. The only stat that matters: how many times you put the ball in the back of the net. And yeah, there's some wacky stats in the shooting department between United and West Ham, which we'll go over in a bit. But for those of you joining, it is live on HOTFUZZ44, the host channel of the show, of course, but also live over on Early Doors Football TV. The channel link to Tony's channel is in the stream description, so do be sure to also head over there and drop Early Doors a subscription and all of that good stuff, because sharing the love is the best way to go about this operating in this community and all of that good stuff. Big ups to Carl Rossi as well.
Yeah, Carl.
Bit nervy now for you. You've seen your team sheets, you see Liverpool's team sheets, and the nerves start to kick in a little bit. We won't be live for too long because I'm sure everybody will want to turn their focus to that game, as I'm sure me and Tony will like to do once that game kicks off. It's time to cue the popcorn, we should say. get the popcorn ready. I've got another slice of sticky toffee pudding waiting for me downstairs off the back of my Sunday lunch, so I might have a bit of that to enjoy. The potential Arsenal funeral that might be. Oh, then again, we might have it all wrong. It might be a Liverpool funeral. You never truly know, but because Arsenal Maniac, that was rubbish. Recent form being crap since FA Cup exit to Bristol. It's a bit up and down, I think, with West Ham here and there. And I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Coming into this game, in one side of things, you'll have United fans thinking, yeah, this could be the turn of something new, a new dawn or something, the start of a little run of games that we can go on. But then there's that lurking element of doubt that you've got this inconsistency bug that just has plagued this team all season, and that's winning off the back of Wolves to come into this game against West Ham. A lot of people say, well, West Ham are going to be the tougher game. It didn't play out that way, but there's no shame in saying that West Ham, to me, are a better team than Wolverhampton Wanderers. I say that after Wolves have destroyed Chelsea at Stamford Bridge 4-2. So, sorry, Chelsea, we riled them up a bit with Kobe Mainu, but it is what it is. It's a dog eat dog world. The big yellow shark that was eaten alive on Thursday's eaten the not so big blue shark today. But inconsistency central, we found a bit of consistency today. And do you know what? Stats may say, look, you've had tons and tons of shots today. Not an awful lot on target. And are not really massively tested, barring, I think, once or twice, maybe from corners.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it seemed a relatively comfortable, a solid, comfortable performance from United. Nothing, crazy, amazing. Just sort of like a solid 7 out of 10 performance type thing from players all around the team. I mean, barring Harry Maguire, of course, because that guy's just walking disaster. But would you say that's a fair assessment on the game?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, for us, like you said, I think we was the one that came with the inconsistencies, and we gave you the consistency. And Kudos should have had a brace, but completely fluffed his chances. And like as you said, Nana didn't have much to do. So it was a comfortable win because, in certain respects, we just had a lot of possession but no end product.
Mm.
You capitalised on their mistakes.
Mm.
That's what it comes down to. We just literally made mistakes after mistake.
Yeah, and that's, we could say that's probably the theme with Manchester United. Is even if with the theme of the season, even though we can have a team give up lots of chances to us, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to score lots and lots of goals. We can be quite indecisive in front of goal. We shoot from distance. Execution's bad. There's not a lot of intelligence forward in the final third today. I think all the players in the final thirds for United today were actually relatively decent. Relatively composed, not overly wasteful, and took the chances they needed to, which is a nice change. And I suppose we could say that's 2 games on the bounce where that's been the theme, rather than it being one game you see a lot of big positives, glaring negatives. You go into this game and you see more so negatives than positives. But today it's like we had a great first half against Wolves, very scary second half. Go into this game, first half we get the 1-0 lead, and most of which people are probably thinking, do we kick on with this? And we start the second half very well also. You get the goal early second half, transition. And this is what I constantly think about with Manchester United, is transition. The performance from start to finish, there's different phases of the game. Go from one style of play into another, into another, into another, and just coast through the game and manage it. And I think United did that to relatively well to a certain extent. In terms of players key to United today, I mean, Garnacho scoring a brace.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, it does the world of good if attackers are scoring goals instead of super Scott McTominay, who got an assist today. The Milky Bar kid. He's definitely down several bars of white chocolate before he came on the pitch. But also, birthday boy Rasmus Højlund, who's 21 today, gets himself a birthday present, birthday goal. Fair plays to him. Is there anybody for the West Ham side today that you believe was that should have been, or perhaps was a bit more of a letdown as opposed to, say, unlucky or unfortunate?
Well, there was a situation I saw where you had Bowen received the ball, nicked it off of Maguire, and basically took forever and a day to put it in the back of the net. I mean, why you got to think about it? The goal's there; it's open for you, and then, you just do one thing: you smash it into the back. But it took longer than that. And give your, Dallow, he's the best father and son to him on YouTube. Come on, man, United, well done, now. When you look at it, it's the fact that you take so long and you get closed down, and Dallow takes it and nicks the ball. And again, we was very ineffective, even with the he had as well. Going to get annihilated. Confidence extreme. I mean, so when you look at that, it's true. That is true. Mano, and he's doing very well for you at the moment. It's the fact that, we just looked a bit below par. And I was, fun enough, I was on a West Ham channel earlier, and I just asked the question: Is there something happening at West Ham? Is the impetus kind of waned a little bit because we're not playing as well as we was? I mean, obviously he brought Phillips on the 71 minutes, and he weren't going to do much anyway as it was. He actually took off Souček and Kufel, which was quite a surprise for a change. So Moyes actually growing a pair of balls in this game, making good changes, but ineffective, very ineffective. So I mean, kudos. You expected him to do a lot more, Bowen especially to do a lot more as well. So they're your 2 front men. But it was one of those, not much tested. And then, of course, the fact that he went with Fabianski in goal, that kind of tells you something completely different, really.
Well, that's the thing with Fabianski, is actually Areola that started the game in the first half and was subbed off at half time, I believe, for Fabianski in the second half through injury. So 2 different halves, 2 different goalkeepers. Both goalkeepers conceded a goal, both halves of football there. But yeah, to be honest, I'm looking at the team that you started with, and it looks like it's a solid midfield. I'm a bit sort of question marks about Johnson, because I'm thinking where you've, and I suppose it might just be the case that maybe that's the option to go with. Maybe there's a better team sheet that you could have gone with in the attacking department. Maybe if you have Bowen playing on the right with Danny Ings starting up top for you, or something like that, as opposed to having an extra defender, because it might be good if you've played the extra defender who's got good work rate down the wings, but is the extra insurance policy to essentially soak up any of the pressure that the opposition will have. And usually that sort of an approach as an away team against a bigger team at a bigger venue is usually the direction most teams would tend to go in. But even with the extra defender on the pitch, as you've said, a lot of your goals came from mistakes or just isolated incidences from individuals, and that you could probably say is a reflection that the team performance just wasn't quite synced up.
No.
Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I just feel there's some kind of disconnection going on at the moment, because, as you said, on paper that midfield that should be winning battles all day long, but it wasn't the case, and there's a serious problem there in that respect. Obviously, Ben Johnson, obviously a lot of people moaning because his contract is up, and a lot of them are saying basically, should he still get the contract? The funny part about it was the Fizzy
show. That's my spelling.
It's the fact that Johnson looked more effective in midfield than he did playing as a defender. So so there's something going on. Something is not kind of fitting right at the moment. So
maybe you could say that. There's not really anybody missing for West Ham through injury at the moment. It's only Paqueta and Mikel Antonio. So I wouldn't say that's too far away from your strongest team.
No.
And it's just not clicked together. It's not gelled together. Interestingly enough, with set pieces, with James Ward-Prowse, you guys had how many corners do you guys have? Had 8 corner kicks. And one thing Manchester United are absolutely disastrous with is defending from corners, defending from crossing scenarios. And for someone who's a dead ball specialist in James Ward-Prowse, you would have thought that, physicality, height in your team, that's the golden opportunity. And once or twice you did sort of have the ball going towards our goal from those positions, and Anna making a few saves here and there, but anywhere near enough threat from set pieces for you?
No, because fun enough, the last 4 or 5, I'd say even 5 games, Ward-Prowse's crosses and free kicks have been very ineffective. They're not as good as they were. So again, I don't know. You think that we'll say that next season will have been better next season. West Ham might drop off. Well, we're doing it at the moment. Unfortunately, we are doing it at the moment. So Ward-Prowse's free kicks are not exactly hitting the target. Pardon the pun. But then you've got to look, is that movement in the box, because players are not actually kind of connecting into the areas, and more than anything else, it seems that most teams have worked out that when Ward-Prowse is going to deliver that ball, it's always going on the sweet spot, as they say, and everyone's basically big up to EJ Crane, basically got it covered. So they're actually it's cutting us out from the chances we normally would have had. So yes, there's that. I think that's another problem for us as well.
Absolutely. Well, Beers says to Tony in the chat, I'm cheating on my chocolate milk at the moment. It's not chocolate milk. I was currently running with the Vimto.
Hey, the big
So there you go, Carl Rossi, as well, for asking that question the other day. I think it was yesterday. Vimto or chocolate milk? Vimto is my daytime drink. Chocolate milk's my nighttime drink. Very, very, very specific set hours.
Shoulda, woulda, kudos.
Yeah, well, maybe we can say that with the midfield battles today, that we can give a lot more credits to the partnership of Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro, because it's a midfield partnership that I think is hands down the best in terms of quality, in terms of balance, in terms of compatibility, how well they complement each other. Wolverhampton Wanderers struggled to, control our midfield in the first half with that sort of partnership going. This game felt like it was somewhat the same, that there's not really established control possession in midfield, and that the solid out ball for West Ham is through the middle. I think Kobbie Mainoo, again, very matured performance. Casemiro as well, great partnership, and because it's well balanced, it's very compatible. It makes a massive difference. And comparing it to how it was at the start of the season, where you got a Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes playing ahead, or a Scott McTominay and Bruno Fernandes midfield ahead of either Kobbie Mainoo or Casemiro, there's not a lot of isolation. And if we were leaving one of those midfielders isolated, James Ward-Prowse, such a key and important player, gets a lot more space to operate in, and it's an extra attacking route. And I think with the introduction or the beginning of utilising a Casemiro Kobbie Mainoo midfield is going to cause problems in the attacking departments for more teams, which is very pivotal. It's very pivotal when we want to win games consistently. A very key part of the game of football is winning your midfield battles, and Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo, great midfield partnership. It's a great insurance policy. And for your midfield with Alvarez and Souček, I look at that midfield and I think, that's a good midfield.
Yeah.
But that midfield probably beats us across 90 minutes if there's Kobbie Mainoo and Scott McTominay or Ericsson instead of a Casemiro Kobbie Mainoo partnership. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would do. I mean, like you said about your partnership, I think even though you got Alvarez and Souček together, definitely we're lacking a Paqueta. That's for sure. Because big up Stephanie. That's where, if you think about it, Alvarez and Paqueta link up really well. There's a good understanding between each other, because obviously one can hold and the other one can obviously do his tricks and so forth. But with Souček, unfortunately, as much as he can get stuck in, you do wonder what he's going to do with the ball next, and that's sometimes a bit of a worrying aspect, because today you can see he got hiked off because obviously he was ineffective.
Yeah. In terms of the attacking outlets as well for you guys, I mean, the stats read here that Manchester United shots 12 attempts, 5 on target, 3 goals scored. Relatively, somewhat a little bit clinical edge to it, especially considering it's usually a wasteful attack.
Yeah, not bad ratio.
West Ham with 22 attempts, only 3 on target, but 19 off goal. 19 off target. So the execution, finishing not quite there. Is that a significant worry for you, or do you look at that and say that's just a one-off, or has this been something that's creeped into your game across a few games?
Well, it has been, because as you know, with this transfer window, the one thing we did try to get hold of was a striker, because we know we're in desperate need of one. You can't rely on Bowen to get you your goals, and you can't rely on Kudos to do exactly the same. They seem to be more happy playing out on the wing. Obviously, Antonio being injured and his age is a big factor. So really, we did need a forward, and by going with them stats, we got Rosie, go with them stats. it doesn't read good, does it? I mean, Erasmus, 10 goals in 28 appearances, 4 games in a row now. Spurs, Wolves, and Emmers. The man's on fire.
He's growing into the role now, and it's one of those things that perhaps you look at it and say, maybe we should just have a bit of patience with him, because everyone's memeing on him at the time, where it's just like, oh, it's not it's not Agent 007 anymore, it's like 0014, 0015, 0016. We're going on forever and ever. But gradually he sort of he's found a balance, he's found a role in that team, and perhaps a certain approach to the number 9 position and how he plays that position, that he's got a good groove going. And I think the teammates around him are finding something good as well, just to feed off of him, and also likewise, because we see him not only scoring goals but setting them up as well, and that's such a massive element to have in a team. If you've got a striker that's not just needing the service on its own, but in key areas can also give good service. So maybe that's a positive. Would you say you have anybody in your team that's, I mean, just maybe Jared Bowen, but is he that sort of type of striker, that type of forward, do you reckon?
Yeah, when he's on form, he can be. Because obviously at least the supply's there, because we all play a ball through. Unlike the other night when you think for some reason we tried to play long ball with Bournemouth and it was ineffective. I mean, why we went that route, I don't know, because there's no way it was getting to our front line, even out to the wings. But with Bowen, like I said, yeah, if you give it to if it's played through, then he's getting something out of that all day long, because he can create something from it. Big up Tony Neary. He can actually create something with it. And he says a bit disappointed. Yeah, same as here, mate. I was very disappointed with that one.
It's pure dog shit.
It's pure dog shit, and we're paying him roughly £560,000 a month because of the pleasure as well. So.
Yeah, I don't think Man City are looking back on that one and thinking, "Wow." I mean, that's the reason why he sits on the bench. Yeah, to Anthony Herbert.
Yeah.
So shit today, can't see us playing good either. Well, the game has kicked off, so we won't be live for too much longer. Arsenal are not losing to Liverpool just yet. I know it's only 2 minutes, but you can never rule it out. Never rule it out with the early 1 minute goal. You do your score prediction. Big up Store School Gunner as well.
Big up Dave.
I think it's Rosie, is it? So
Rosie McDuff. McDuff. Rosie, yeah.
So big ups to you as well. Greetings from Switzerland.
He's now moved out there now.
He's gone to live in the most politically neutral country in the world. Maybe he's just moved there because he knows World War III is coming, and we're all just, in reality, we're all
going to
die. Man United have been a bit sharper last 2 games. Yeah, and it's really weird, actually, because it sort of coincided with fan belief that Man United are actually turned a corner, because we've actually won 3 games on the bounce in all competitions.
I was going to say,
drawn the one before that against Spurs, and then I think it was another game before Spurs that we actually won. So, I mean, the last 5 games, if I just double check that, just what the past 5 games that we had. Oh no, we had no, that's just in the league. Okay, so yeah, there's the last 5 games in all comps, we have won 4, drawn 1. Then again, it's not that hard to do when you play against Wigan and Newport County, 2 of those games. But all things considered,
they all count, they say.
Well, in cup competitions, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Thank goodness it's not league games, because
yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what we are at the moment. When you look at it, apart from losing today, 2 draws. Yeah, and we saw the last one. The introduction of Phillips and how he caved that one away. Yeah, it is one game, Dave. I know that. I know I've got to look forward to it. But the next one,
Arsenal,
is Arsenal.
Yeah, so I'll say what, it don't really get much easier than the Man United. Are you playing at home or is that at the Emirates as well?
No, I think that might be at home. Let me just double check.
But yeah, just to go back to the star comment that.
Yeah, we were at home. We were at home.
Okay, so you might be
And
able
then
to get a response. Actually, to be fair to you.
we've got because we've got basically Arsenal. Then we've got Notts Forest at their place, and then we've got Brentford at home.
So fair plays to them. Others, the kids played well. Just go delve back to this point and say that perhaps the introduction of the kids is a bit more of a mainstay in the first team, because I think it's been quite a while where usually your kids in the team are more sort of sporadic appearances as opposed to just stable parts of your team. And I think just that injection of young bloods surrounded by your more experienced players, dependent on how how grand the bigger picture is, that sort of a blend between the experienced and younger players is usually really well complementative factor to have. And I think with United, in certain parts it's been great, other parts it's been a little bit lacking. But that's the thing with United, it's usually the more senior elements of your team that are under delivering and not pulling their weight, and we're usually spending more time complaining about them. The younger players have been a breath of fresh air.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, Garnacho, he can be a bit hit and miss, but when he's on it, he's fantastic. Kobe Mainu, he doesn't have to score goals or assist goals like crazy. He just needs to do, the hard work that goes unnoticed. And he's like instead of holding a performance or team together with the bits of tape and string, he's got them sort of like, I don't know, beams of titanium or something. But
He's got no fear. He's literally got no fear.
yeah,
And that's what I like about him.
he
Because,
he's like I wouldn't say the cherry on top of the icing, because that's usually reserved to like the star players in the attacking departments. He's more just the foundations, and having a foundation player that's so young and so inexperienced to play with such a cool head is such a gem to have in a team. And the fact is that we could add to that in the summer. We could add extra depth of quality. So instead of subbing on Scott McTominay or Ericsson, you're subbing on somebody else that is, relatively decent. To be fair, we had Amrabat on the bench, so I'm sort of looking at that and thinking, well, I mean, I'll say that, but Scott McTominay did come on to assisting for Garnacho, so. But I still
all is forgiven with McTominay.
I won't be christening him with no McTerminator title for the weekend. I'm not going to do that. It's he hasn't single-handedly won us a game, but credit where credit is due. If you contribute towards positive things in the team, you get a round of applause, right? You do get credit where credit is due, but also the grander scheme of things. It's like with Marcus Rashford. People will say, "Oh, no, another good game from Rashford. Might not have scored, but another good game." That doesn't mean that he gets to stay across the summer and say, he's going to be a stable part of our future. The grander scheme of things is that for too long he's not been good enough, and we need to think about improving things, moving people on, keeping the identity of this team fresh, hungry, desirable. Like, we want players that don't have the run of form that Rashford has, or the disciplinary issues that some of our attackers have. If you want to be a top level club, you set aside the biases. You just say, are they good enough in the moment? Yes or no. Is that player going to be a big part to why you win trophies? Yes or no? You ask those sorts of questions, and most of which will probably say no to those more so than those saying yes, because I mean, there's still some tapped people out there who probably think that Scott McTominay will win us Premier League titles on his own. But it's like, that's kind of where we are at the moment. And I think having the introduction of the youth players in this team, it's like it's such a to me it's a bit more of a relief more than anything, because it's like I don't have to worry about replacing every single senior player with somebody by going out and splashing hundreds of millions of pounds on individuals just to up the quality. I mean, we've introduced first team elements
Yeah,
for completely free from the academy, and we might still be doing so in the near future. Because I mean, the academy is only going to get better because that's a big core focus for Ineos as well. They want
yeah,
to get that to be one of the best academies on the planet again. Um, and it's coming from a good place. I mean, the under 18s, for example, they're what is it? They're like nearly 20 points clear in their division or something. Like it's like their league is too easy. So
wow.
there's positives there for Manchester United to look at and say that coming like those players coming up, yeah, that's all right.
That's what you
It
want.
makes the first team picture sorting that out that bit easier.
Yeah, yeah. Because obviously, when you look at it, you know, it's funny when you look at both the managers. Obviously, Ten
Mm,
Hag's under pressure
yeah.
because obviously you know where you are, and obviously you look at Moyes. The question mark it hangs over everyone's head. Is he going to get this contract?
Mm,
And does he deserve a contract? If you go by looking at today's performance, a lot of people are going to say not at all, because
mm,
he got his tactics wrong. I mean, as much as we had that kind of possession kind of thing, it seems
mm.
that because there's a bit different when we was on attack. I counted 10 of your you needed way to Kenny today. That's very true. You had you had literally 10 players behind the ball, and
Yeah.
that's where the difference lies. You actually had defended in numbers and pushed on in numbers as well.
Mm.
So there's a big difference. And for Ten Hag to suddenly get this result, um, or the results over the last couple of games in that, it's a case of, is the Ten Hag effect starting to gel? Afternoon, Si.
Mm.
Is it start to work now? I mean, I don't know. Do you feel it's kind of starting to find some form?
I perhaps look at it a bit more from the standpoint that there's more of the players that started today are more the players that still back him, as
Mm,
opposed to the players that usually are the ones that might be calling him out a bit or not trusting him, are the ones that go onto the bench. But when Ten Hag calls upon them, they go on and they're more so impact players, less negative influence. But that's kind of the thing,
yeah.
that when United make subs, the levels can drop, and they usually do drop a little bit. Um,
Just
so
interruption, mate. Just seen Saka with his 50 pence head. Had a chance of putting Arsenal 1-0 up and completely fluffed it. Absolutely fluffed it.
it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long afternoon.
Well, tonight's show will be interesting, depending on what the scoreline is going to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it might be party atmosphere. It might be trophy celebrations. The Premier League title race is on, or it could be a funeral
Yeah.
procession. It could be a funeral procession. You might have to cue some. You might have to theme it all black and white here, Tony. You might have to cue the funeral march music. Do 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 do.
I'll find
do.
it, mate. Don't worry about that. I'll get it lined up.
It was all in your hands. Well, it is not anymore. But big ups to Sai as well. Good afternoons to you.
Good, mate. It's good to
1-1
hear, Dave.
1-1 draw in your game as well. Thanks, Joe. Seriously, last night needed it. Can't see a draw, so Rosemary Duff thinks that is
They
going
got
to be
Pepsi
a
back.
winner.
Jesus injured again. Yeah, it's
That's
true. Isn't it? Yeah, we don't need a striker. We're fine. We're fine.
Just said that he's very happy with Havertz. That's why I picked him up front.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, there could be a big chance to score a goal here for Arsenal. So you never know, there might be something there. Be it Samantha Flossie as well.
Mama Flossie.
I just hope that Arsenal go out and give everything for all the real fans that have been there in good and bad times. It isn't always about ability. Have all the players have heart to fight. Come on, Gunners. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the fundamentals for yeah, a football team to sort of deliver for their fans, because it's kind of the essence of supply and demand, that fans that demand from their team. It's an obligation for players to know that they can't drop levels. I mean, you look at Chelsea fans, if they're with the Chelsea team just not really caring so much, and how that situation is developing. I mean, the really toxic atmosphere at Stamford Bridge right here.
Yeah.
Chants Roman Abramovich, chants against against Todd Bowley and Clear Lake. So that situation is deteriorating at Chelsea, and the fans there, they're starting to step up and make their voices heard, and fair plays to them. Because what's going on is unacceptable, and I think it should be the same thing for every single fan base of every single team. When things are unacceptable, you, as the lifeblood of the sport and the lifeblood of your club, without you, your club is nothing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you can make change, you can incite change. So it's catch you later. Game is starting.
Yeah.
We will be wrapping up the show in just a second. Just catch up with all the comments here.
Yeah.
Hit the like button as well. Yes, please do. Live over on the HOTFUZZ44 channel, as well as Early Doors Football TV channel as well. So make sure you go like both streams. The link, if you're watching from my channel, from my end, link to Tony's channel is in the stream description. So do be sure to go like his stream and subscribe as well. 1-0. So yeah, Saka.
Yeah, another one, being in the right place at the right time. Other than that, Havertz, straight at Alisson, pinging out straight into Xhaka's path, and there's the one goal for Arsenal anyway. So now it's all Liverpool after this, and they're going to win the game.
Wow, fingers crossed. For content purposes, Arsenal.
Of course, absolutely, exactly.
Content purposes.
Us creators, we need that content. Please, please, please.
We want something to be extra extra chirpy about when it comes to the Sunday Takeaway show tonight. So please, football gods, But anyways, we're going to drop it there as everyone's sort of turned their focus and attention to the Arsenal-Liverpool game. We're going to let everybody go and enjoy the rest of the football for Sunday. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Tony on for this match reaction.
Thank you, mate.
Just to gauge the perspective from the West Ham perspective. And of course, as I said just now, with the Sunday Takeaway show tonight coming up, remind us what time that is on your channel, Tony?
It's 8 p.m. tonight.
8 o'clock tonight. Live
if you're
on.
Around, dear sir, you're quite welcome to that invite as always.
I think I've already received a link from you for that.
Making sure, mate. Just making sure. You might have thought after the game, sod that.
Rescind that. Take that away from you. I ain't welcoming your shameless ass on my show. No chance of that.
Yeah, you'll be all there. You'll be all there wondering, where's Tony gone? He's sitting indoors.
Sit in the corner. keep your camera blank whilst everyone else is everyone's just talking. Exactly. But anyways, do be sure to head over to Early Doors Football TV, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to join us as well at 8 o'clock tonight for the Sunday Takeaway show. As I've already said, if you're watching from my channel, the link to his channel, Tony's channel, is in the stream description and will remain there if you are watching on playback as well. So if you do see this, click on there, get the notification bell switched on when you go to subscribe over there and all that good stuff, so you will be notified when that show kicks off. There's looking like it's going to be a fruitful panel tonight by the looks of it, and it's going to be a big big Sunday Takeaway show, and we'll be seeing everybody over there. But once again, thank you very much, Tony, for joining me for the match reaction. It's been a real pleasure to have you on,
as always.
Big ups to everybody who is tuned in for the match reaction. Bit more of a shorter one, but we covered most of the bases in the game, so that's always good stuff there. And big ups to everybody who's liked, subscribed. If you're watching on playback, make sure to continue to do that and to keep them trends upticking. So all of that good stuff. And big ups to everybody in the chat. that's it from us for this afternoon.
Nice, mate.
Take care, and we'll see you lot again later on tonight, hopefully.
Take
Until
care,
then, take care, goodbye, and God bless y'all.